it's so ridiculous because it's been the talk of the internet, it feels. I mean, obviously we are very much glued in and clued in with what's going in the world of golf, but like...
We are the internet.
That is true. We are part of it. But the fact that, like, I had people... I went to the pub on Saturday night and I had a couple of friends who do watch golf. They kind of, but they're not in it. Mm-hmm. And the first thing they said to me is, what's all this Luke KWON situation, what dramas? And I had to kind of explain to them about it, which... again,
okay, so lay it out. What actually happens for the people who haven't watched the Internet Invitational episode 1 and episode 2?
If you haven't seen it, or if you haven't just seen the clips that are just everywhere on TikTok and whatnot, the first day of play at the Invitational, they drafted 2 teams and they were playing as a 2-ball against another 2-ball in a scramble. Luke KWON and a guy called PFT, who I think works for Barstool, were paired together. And they were supposed to be playing together, but Luke didn't show up to his tee time. He slept in late, which I will say, if you have seen the lodges at Big Cedar Lodge, I'm with him, because I would have slept in as well. Also for the fact that I do that a lot. Yeah. It was a 9:30 tee time. So to be fair, not really, even for me, I could have done that one.
Yeah.
And he turned up and... to be honest, showed very little remorse about being late, not showing up for his teammate, then had to proceed to have a 4-hole sit-off or sit-out or whatever of the match. It's only 9 holes as well, so basically half the match. And then also kind of proceeded to then take the mick out of his partner by saying that he wasn't going to do very well and, just pick it up and just move on to the 5th hole because what's the point, because I'm not playing. So, and it was all just a little bit, and then it came to blows after when he went to lunch, and there was a couple of the Barstool employees, I think, as well, like really, really digging into him. And then the second day where the second video came out, there was this sort of like... almost like the video was trying to bring Luke back to the good side again, and John Gruden, the NFL coach who they've got working for Barstool now, he gave this speech. I don't know if you've seen the speech.
I have seen the speech.
Like to
honestly,
rattle the team.
Honestly, I was hyped.
Yeah, and well, that shows you how that was an NFL coach. Like he has done that locker room talk a lot of times.
Yeah.
And it was this like invigorating speech to try and not only get their team back into it because they were losing quite heavily, but also stop being annoyed at Luke for what he'd done. Now, not that there's necessarily people out there going, what do the Rough Cut boys think about this? But I do kind of want to give my piece a little bit because I've been fortunate enough to film and work and become friends with Luke from working with Pete. And also as someone who enjoys his content and sees the way he is in his content, I think that I always say this about Luke. He is the least, because he isn't really, but he's the least American that I know. Yeah. Obviously, he's not really American. I mean, given the fact that he now basically just goes and lives over in New Zealand or whatever. So, that kind of plays into it a lot. And I think the American scope and the way they look at it, obviously it looks pretty crap. And I think maybe even from an English perspective as well, like I kind of saw the humor from how we might see it a little bit, but that self-deprecating but almost taking the mick out of each other is what they do obviously with Taco and Sam and all that lot. So he was just kind of doing what was natural to him in that environment. Now, waking up late for a tee time and not really showing much remorse and not being like, oh, I'm really sorry about it. It was a bit of a crap move, to be fair. It was a bad look for him, and I think if he just kind of stood up and owned it, but again, I think that's just his natural sort of mental. That's how he is. That's how he just goes about, and say you know him as well. Like that's just kind of what it's about. What I mean, I've rambled there for a little bit. What's your kind of?
No, I agree. I agree. As I was watching it, I thought, oh, this is great drama, and this is great television. This is a great story. And I thought he was going to turn up to the first tee, miss the first hole, and then him and his partner were going to go and win. They were playing versus Bobby and
it's the Frankie.
Correct. So it would end up being a tight match. Bobby and Frankie both have played some pretty good golf. I think they ended up playing really well in the second half of the day. But I thought Luke was going to turn up. They were all going to be like, "Oh, you idiot! Like you slept through your alarm." Reasons for we'll come to in a second. But oh, you knucklehead, and here's your penalty. You're not going to get to play this hole. But go out on a second and try and get back what you have just you've just let your teammate down. What then proceeded to happen was like the more the people on the tee thought about it and like hyped each other up about it, the more it turned into how can we make an example of Luke so that everyone else sees how seriously we're taking it. Yeah. Because it felt like initially they were like, oh, well, he can't play this hole. Then more people chirp in, and it starts to become, oh, he should be thrown out of the tournament. And then they go, well, really, you would DQ from the round if you didn't turn up to your tee time on time in a professional tournament. Of course, this is not a professional tournament. It is a YouTube video. Yep. Yes, with high stakes. It's
entertainment.
It's designed to. The money is there. Lots of people's arguments about why he should have showed up and why he should have been more apologetic was that you're playing for 1.7 million pounds or $1 million or whatever. But like the money is not there to make these guys want to win. The money is there to make viewers want to watch. This is not, there's no prestige. It's the first time it's ever happened. So you can understand a little bit of Luke's approach coming out being like, yeah, but it's just a YouTube video. I don't think, which of course it is, but I don't think he understood how seriously, what had happened on the first tee between him not showing up and him showing up made it so much worse than it could have been. Yeah. Because everyone there was just kind of, your own, what's it called when you're only getting the same opinion than what you have? Something. It's like an confirmation bias.
All right. It's like an echo chamber.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It was an echo chamber of people being like, yeah, we should punish him. And be like, yeah, we should punish him. Like, yeah, we should flame him, punish him. Yeah. And then eventually it's like handing out this punishment, which I don't think was justified. I don't think the hate is justified. Yes, he could have come out onto the first tee and be like, listen, I'm so sorry. I overslept. Here's all the reasons. Put me back in whenever you feel like it's appropriate. I'd love to go and play my best. However, the other thing that lots of people have been saying is that he didn't apologize, which he did. I've watched the video multiple times to make sure that this is correct. He apologizes before they even come off that first tee. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm, obviously not as genuine as you would like it to be. But
yeah, I think that's probably where people find they don't take it as a sincere apology.
Yeah, and then he apologized to Dave. He apologizes to Bob from Bob Does Sports. Like he does have those conversations, maybe not in a way that other people would like him to have done, but he did apologize. And then he comes back into lunch, and Ryan Whitney, who I had never heard of because apparently is he a hockey player? No idea. I don't know. He sees it as a chance to, maybe he's been told to chirp him by someone behind the camera. This is the other thing that we don't know, is that like it's all being set up to make good drama and good television. And has someone said to him, it will make a really good reel if you riled him up to the point where he told you to F off. And then we can put it on the internet and, we'll make we'll get loads of clicks. So we don't know what's been happening behind the scenes.
The rumor on the ground as well is that there was a lot of occasions where Dave Portnoy was kind of just throwing money and just going like, I'll give you this X amount to do this. Not necessarily in the sense of like, I'm not saying that he was making people do things. I mean like putting matches on the line for, you could flip, stick or twist where you could take money or give your point away and like things like that to try and amp up the video.
Yeah.
Could he have slipped Luke a little, just to, because the thing is Barstool and like I don't engage really with their content, but you can't not engage with it if you're a fan of American sport in particular, if you're a fan of sport in general, like they do tend to come up a lot. And obviously, having the foreplay guys as well, like they are a representation of that company. It's hard to not see it, but that company is just about entertainment, but entertainment drama and conspiracy and anger and confliction and there's how many times their stuff goes bigger when there's conflict compared to if everything goes nice and smooth and whatnot. I think, like I say, in any given situation, like if you just break it down in full on layman's terms of like what should have happened, Luke did something wrong. He should have turned up, apologized, got on with it, and I think everyone would have been like, yeah, that was probably the like decent humanly way to do it. He just did it in the way that is in the Luke KWON way, and the Luke KWON way is not the way that people don't like it. And I understand it. It doesn't come across in the right manner, but I also do want to say he is one of the loveliest people that we've met. He is been always had time, like, you know, there's been times when I go on shoots and I film with certain creators and certain people, and it is them and Pete having a conversation, and myself and you or Kieran or whatever, and you know, we're just there as part of the furniture.
We don't exist,
which we're doing our job, but you know, it's nice to feel. And Luke, from the minute that I've known him and met him, he's always been very, and I have, you know, weekly maybe conversations with him every now and then. So he is, you know.
I texted him after I saw the video, and I was like, dude, you know, I mean, we're recording on my phone, so I can't go and see it, but I basically said to him, you know, like, it must feel really crap to have messed up on an arena where, you know, everyone is going to see it. And he was like, yeah, man, it does feel real bad. And I'm apologized. And I was like, but then, like, you got to think, like, it was in the interest of the video for them to make it worse than it was. So here's my other thing. He was staying in a lodge with Mason Nutt. And they're on the same team.
So why did he not?
why did he not, like, hey dude, I know you've just come back from Norway, where you've played golf for 48 hours without sleeping, and then got a red-eye flight here, and then arrived and went to the dinner, and then woke up the next day and tried to get to a 9:30 tee time. I know you're on this like mad run of not sleeping, just making sure you're awake.
I'll look out.
Shall we go to the range?
I'm getting up now.
Yeah. I think, like, they said in the video that they assumed he was up and that he was fine, but like they could hear his alarm going off and there was no movement in the room. So there was, you know, if we are going to a shoot and Jacob likes to sleep in,
I do.
I'm one of the earliers on the team. If we're going to a shoot and it's like, well, hell, we've got to be there in like 20 minutes. Like, we have call times in like 20 minutes. And I'm like, not. Jacob, get up. Into your, right, bang on your door, turn your light on, run a cold tap on your head, you know, whatever it takes to get you out of bed.
I've done that a few times.
So yeah, that's, and then the Norway thing is massive as well. Do you remember how tired you were coming back from Norway?
Oh yeah, I
slept for about a month.
The sleep was minimal / broken. And it's a long time to get there. It's a lot of travel. And even though it's not like, you know, it's not like a 12-hour trip, so to speak, it's close, but it's not like, you know, full on going to the west coast of America. But because it's so many different legs and moving and getting this flight and that flight, and then you drive and then you do, and it's long. It's hard to get to Lofoten. So I could understand the perspective of that as someone who is also, you know, likes to sleep. But hey, you know, let us know what you think down below. I'm sure it will be very mixed opinions, as it is seemingly across the whole of the internet. More so to say that I am enjoying the videos. Like, I do think they are entertaining. I'd like it to go again.